Building resilience takes effort. Today we're talking about resilience. Resilience is a key factor when it comes to any type of personal development, be it leadership or self-confidence. So let's make sure that effort's not wasted. I'm going to give you 10 different areas or strategies that you can focus on to make sure that you're making improvements where you want to. Some of us don't need all of these, but all of us need some of these. You're going to find some useful little bits here. So let's get started. So on this first one, we're going to talk about something that I get a lot of pushback on. And it's the best way to put it is that I have a certain way that I talk to myself. There's this discussion around self-talk and what it should look like. I don't have conventional self-talk. Now, it may be because of where I came up or my previous career in the Marine Corps, but my self-talk isn't the nicest thing. And people will say, oh, you should have positive self-talk. Your self-talk should be positive. You shouldn't be putting yourself down, and you should speak to yourself kindly in your head. And I get that for some people, but that's one of those things that's not for everybody. My self-talk is pretty firm, but it comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of possibility. My self-talk sounds something like, you trying to be a piece of shit? Because that's what a piece of shit would do. What the f you doing? Keep it moving. Let's go. That might not be something for everybody, but for me, it comes back to, no, I'm not going to quit. No, I'm not going to give up. And you keep pushing forward. It's not about agreeing with the negative self-talk. It's about finding the self-talk that motivates you to get done what needs to get done. This is how resilience is built. All right, another thing here that I usually get pushed back on is people think that I'm not an emotional person. The funny thing is I grew up very, very emotional, very depressed, always sad, always stressed out, but I put on a happy face. And it wasn't the most genuine. I would act happy, but inside I knew I really wasn't. When it came time to grow up, I had to learn emotional regulation, to regulate my emotions and not let them control me, and be genuine with my thoughts and be genuine with my emotions so that I'm putting forward an authentic face. There's a lot of techniques that can be used when it comes to regulating your emotions. The two that I like the most are mindfulness and deep breathing. Of those two, the one I usually go for is that mindfulness. It's being present in the moment, being aware of what I'm feeling, exploring the emotion before reacting to it. It's acknowledging that it exists and then making a decision based on that emotion along with the logic of the situation. It definitely takes practice. It definitely takes time to master something like that. And I'm far from being a master of mindfulness, but it does work wonders when it comes time for stressful situations and difficult times. Third strategy is developing problem-solving skills. This leans on the second point that I made around mindfulness or controlling and regulating your emotions. Creating problem-solving skills or techniques is the ability to look logically at the problems and not come at things from an emotionally charged state. When we bring in such chaotic energy as something that's emotional and make emotional decisions, it usually brings us to a point to where it makes the situations harder than they have to be. But when we're able to implement these problem-solving techniques that you come up with and coming at things from a space of logic, we realize that it's not as bad as we thought it was in the beginning. And this will help build that resilience to keep pushing forward when things get hard. A motto of the Marine Corps is adapt and overcome. And that works in spades when it comes to building resilience. Being flexible and adaptable to situations that present themselves to you is the key to success, resilience, confidence, leadership, anything that you can think of. Being able to pivot is going to put you in a position of power no matter where you go, no matter what role you're actually playing. The way I practice this is I'll put myself into what if scenarios, and I'll come up with an idea of, what if I lost my job? What if I got into a car wreck? And I go through the steps of what I would do in that situation, visualizing and placing myself in that space, feeling that emotion, and then pushing through the emotion and deciding what would be the logical way to do. If I was on the outside looking in, how would I handle it? All right, if you made it this far, I hope you're finding some value in this. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. for more, that would help me out tons trying to get some traction here. Let's build this channel up and I can bring more information to you on a regular basis. Thanks much. Back to the tips. Coming back to what we're talking about here, another strategy for building that resilience is going to be maintaining perspective. Being able to take a step back from whatever's going on, see the big picture, the bird's eye view, having that 1,000-foot perspective on a situation gives the clarity that sometimes we get lost when we're in the fog of war. The technique I use to remind myself to take a step back and to remain or to hold that perspective is things that are happening around me aren't happening to me. It's not personal. It's just the world working. We've gotten through a few of those. Again, this isn't for everybody. You don't need every single one of these, right? But there's always these ones that you do need. I've already covered a few of them that I know that personally I use on a daily basis to continue to be resilient, even in making this video and building this channel. One of the techniques my wife is fantastic at is cultivating a growth mindset. She has this open mindset of continuing to grow, of always something better, always something more, never limiting. There's never a no in her life. There's just a not now. It's just a not yet. There's just that process you have to go through to prepare yourself for the next level up. Does that make sense? How you can challenge this or how you can implement this is by looking at every situation that happens to you as an opportunity to grow, as an opportunity to test, as an opportunity to prove that you are capable and more resilient than you were before. I've talked about this in previous videos to where it's very important, hugely important to have a supportive network. We have people around us that don't always support the things that we want to do, that aren't always going to be coming on the journey that we are on to be a better version of ourselves. Just as important as it is to kind of cut loose some of the people that are dragging you down or not giving you the energy that you need, it's just as important to make sure you are surrounding yourself with a supportive network that is reinforcing the beliefs and the principles and the techniques and the practices that you are looking to implement. Now, when it comes to that network, it can be family, it can be friends or work colleagues, anybody that's giving you that encouraging advice or cheering you on when you make those achievements and you share those wins with them. However, make sure it's not the people that are bringing the negativity and the doubt and the limiting beliefs that we're trying to shed. We don't need that in our lives. When it comes to building resilience, part of what gets us there is having these little wins to give us the confidence to keep pushing forward. Having these little wins as evidence to know that whatever we do is achievable. That comes from setting achievable goals. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Start small. Start small to where you can achieve that goal and use that momentum and use that compound energy to achieve larger and larger goals. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking the first day or the second day or even the 100th day. Celebrating those small victories is what's going to boost your confidence and give you motivation to challenge the next obstacle that you have in your path. Nothing's going to stand in your way. You'll be the picture of resilience. Brings me into my next one. Self-care. Come on, guys. I can't stress enough how important it is to take care of yourself physically and mentally. To get that done, it doesn't have to be huge changes in your life. It could be just eating a little bit better, being a little bit more active. That exercise, that proper nutrition, that good sleep, that's going to pay dividends in the long run for so many things in your life. You'll have the energy, you'll have the mental fortitude to keep pushing through the challenges that any day presents you. When we're exhausted, when we're depleted, it makes everything else harder. Everything. So let's start with the small things that we can control. All right, last one here, and this is the most important one by far. This is what's going to help you build unshakable resilience on anything that you shoot for. And that is defining your purpose, having a clear purpose on what you want to do, what you want to become, what you want to achieve, how you want to change your life. This is a difficult one. This is the hardest one for just about everybody that I've talked to. This is a hard one for me. But here's the strategy. Here's what's going to make you unshakable in everything that you do. Identify and define your core values. Identify and define what motivates you. Are you doing it for the money? Are you doing it for the fame? Why are you chasing down the goal that you are? Find what makes it important to you, not to anyone else. What's important to you? That sense of purpose is what's going to give you direction during the hard times, because there will be hard times. But this is why you're here. This is what you're here to do. Learn ways to build more resilience, to stop quitting on yourself. We don't do that because we don't want to be, stuck in the same place we were a year ago, 5 years ago. We're trying to change our reality, change our world. The only way to do that is through resilience. You may not need all of these strategies. You may not need all of these tips, but there's some that you need. If you need more than the next person, that's fine. It's important not to compare yourselves to the wrong things. When it comes to comparing yourselves to others, some people take that as a bad thing. It's not necessarily the thief of joy that some people believe. And I have a video right here that you can check out and give you more information on that. Till next time, be fantastic. Done. It's done. Done. Bam. Out.